Hey guys, Motorcarnut here, and today we're talking about jump timing chain, jump timing belt. You may hear that term, you're not too familiar with it. What exactly is it? What is the causes? What's the symptoms? And ultimately, what's the fix? So over here we got a regular 4-cylinder engine, double overhead cams, and on the bottom over there is the crankshaft. Now the crankshaft controls the piston moving up and down. The cams control the valves opening and closing to create pressure, fuel, spark, and compression, so it makes an explosion and sends the piston down. That does it numerous times, and that's what gives you the engine that turns. That's basic stuff. There's a lot more involved in that, but that's just basically what it is. Fuel, spark, combustion, explosion, pushes the piston down, and the whole process starts all over, and that's what makes the engine work. So when mechanic says that the timing jumped, is you have either a timing belt or a timing chain. This is a chain. Belt, same exact thing. What they do is they keep the crank and the cams in line. They have to be in a certain position that when the pistons come up on a compression stroke, it has the power it needs to send it back down. If it's off a little bit, the symptoms would be misfiring. You would get maybe a crank code, or you would get cam codes, or if you have a variable valve timing, you'll get variable valve timing codes, misfire codes. So it's pretty complicated on what the problem would be and how a mechanic would diagnose that. That's why if you go and get it diagnosed, if it's jump timing chain, before they make that decision, it takes diagnostic experience and tools. So what causes that? Well, it all depends on the year, makes, model. Most of the time, it's owner neglect, because everything runs off of oil. And if you don't maintain your oil, lots of things can go wrong. And the time I'm going to show you on the bench. Now the chain has to keep a certain tension, and there's a timing chain tensioner, or if it's a belt, it's a pulley. Either pulley, the same thing, it has to keep tension on the belt so it don't jump. But what makes it jump is the chain can break. Why it breaks? It can break for a lot of reasons. Most of the time it's owner neglect, but they can break because it's a mechanical system and systems fail. Nothing's perfect. The tensioner can strip out, cause it to jump a tooth, and that'll cause it to jump. And again, the symptoms can be light to like a little bit of a misfire, or maybe you have a cam that's off just a tooth. And some engines, especially if they're V8s, they may even still run okay, but you'll get a cam code. Okay, and you would have to go into if it's the sensor, or if the timing jumped, if the cam jumped out of timing. And same thing with a belt. The belt is the same thing. It's just that it's a rubber belt and this is a steel chain. Now, how to fix that? Usually timing belts are easy to replace because they usually have a plastic cover. Not all of them, but they usually have a plastic cover. You take off a couple accessories, and the belt's pretty much exposed. In timing chains, it's part of the end. There's an engine cover, an aluminum cover that's a little bit more involved. Some engines, like BMWs, it goes through. There is no cover. It just slides right through. Other cars like this one, there's a timing chain cover. And depending on if it's a 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder, where it's located, it can be a big job. Now, when the timing jumps and the chain jumps, most of the times, not all the times, if you have an interference engine, what that means is if the timing, as the engine's spinning, if the chain decides to just break, these cams are going to spin just a little bit more, and they may be out of timing. The valve may be down, and the piston's going to hit it and bend it, and then you're going to need either a rebuilt head, or if it hurts, if it destroys it even more and cracks the piston, then a whole engine job or a new engine is going to be in order. Now, just to show you more of a visual, crankshaft's here, cams are here on the top, and here's a tensioner, and it pushes on the chain and keeps tension. And it's usually hydraulic oil, and when you shut the car off, it has usually like some kind of a ratcheting system that when you shut the car off, it won't go all the way in. So, and jump timing. And these usually go bad and can cause a jump timing chain, or like I said before, or another situation, timing chain, not necessarily jumps, but it can stretch. It can stretch so much that it can make the timing jump too. So there's a lot of scenarios on what makes the timing chain jump, but basically how to fix it, it's kind of expensive because you have to take half the side cover off. This is what the cover looks like. All right. And that's only on a 4-cylinder, 6 cylinders. They're more involved. Some of them you have to drop the subframe. I mean, some of these cars are ridiculous. And that's why they charge a lot of money, because, you know, it doesn't fix itself. So hopefully you won't have a mechanic telling you that your timing jumped and we have to check it out. We have to do more diagnosis. Hopefully you don't hear those words. But if you do, at least you know a little bit more about it. Or you watch my channel, you get confident, and you can do it yourself. All right? Motorcarnut, please subscribe, hit that like button. Any questions pertaining to the video, I answer all my questions. And I try to get everybody back on the road as much as I can from the distance. All right, guys, appreciate all the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.